Gonzo, please respond to my messages. I'm trying to show you my dick pic.
Hello everybody, Gonzo Kills here. Today I got a special surprise for you. Yeah, I almost fucked up the word surprise. That would have been bad. In case you guys don't know, I am a huge gamer, and actually no, scratch that. I am actually a huge completionist. Being a completionist and being a trophy hunter basically goes hand in hand. So that's basically my backwards ass way of saying I am a trophy hunter. And since I'm only 19 away from hitting 300 platinum trophies, holy fucking shit, I put together this list of some of the most underrated platinum trophies that I think deserve more attention. So, without further ado, I am a tap dancing black woman, and let's get into this motherfucking video. I can't sing. Bunk of Titans was one of the original easy platinums for the PS4. This auto-running platformer is a pretty low 2 out of 10 in difficulty, and will only take you about 5 hours to get the platinum. For a short, easy game, I had a lot of fun with it. There aren't any missable trophies either because you can go back and replay every chapter. The game is on sale a lot on the PlayStation Store, so if you have a shitty spending habit or have disposable money from a gift card, then I recommend picking this one up. Jazzpunk is another one of the original easy PS4 platinums, but during a time where My Name is Mayo was the cheapest, shortest platinum you can get, I feel like Jazzpunk was a little overlooked. Published by Adult Swim, this game is also a 2 out of 10 in difficulty, but it'll also take 2 hours to get the platinum, so you can spend the rest of your day jackknifing your Mr. Krabs body pillow. Even though it's short, this game is so hilarious and absurd you'd feel like you're on drugs. Although I feel like if you try to play this game on drugs, you'd probably freak out. But also, if you're trying to go for this platinum, it's worth mentioning that you're gonna need to follow a guide, as most of the trophies are missable and there's no chapter select. But come on. Come on.
Come on!
It's an Adult Swim game. You need this in your trophy collection. Rogue Company is a third-person, free-to-play online shooter that deserves more attention if you ask me. And as for trophies, it's a lot less grindy than other online games. Most of your time will probably be spent winning 100 matches and playing in a party for 25 hours total. There are a few trophies that are kinda situational and you might have to go out of your way to get. Back to the Future is one of the older Telltale games, but unlike other Telltale games, the trophies aren't just tied to beating the game and nothing else. Some trophies are dialogue based. There's one trial and error trophy that's kinda a pain in the ass, so I recommend using a guide if you want to get this done in one playthrough. But the game itself is pretty short, so it shouldn't take you any longer than 10 to 15 hours to complete everything. Also, this game does have a second trophy list if you buy a physical copy of the PS3 version. Master Reboot is one of the weirdest horror games I've ever played on the PS3. That alone should warrant a spot on this list, but you guys don't care about the game, you just care about trophies. And luckily, this game has a pretty fun and unique trophy list. There's trophies for beating levels a certain way, or beating levels without taking damage. There's one for beating the game with the language set to Welsh. Of course, the majority of the trophies are missable, so you'll need a guide, blah blah blah. Luckily, the trophies are only missable if you haven't earned them before starting the final level. And the levels aren't that long to begin with since you can platinum this game in 4 hours. Overall, I think this is a game every trophy hunter should try.
Shake your ass!
Riptide GP2 is a very easy to pick up, difficult to master jet ski racing game that was more fun than I expected coming from a game I bought for $5 while it was on sale. Being a racing game with water physics, it's pretty skill dependent, so I'll give it an estimate of 4 out of 10 in difficulty. And you'll also be spending around 15 to 20 hours because this game is a bit grindy. But otherwise, this is a great game to pick up if you're a fan of games like Wave Race 64 and Splashdown and the Hot Cocoa levels from Crash 3. Okay, I don't know shit about this genre, but you get the idea. Wolfenstein: The New Order is a gruesome game all about killing Nazis, and it's an awesome entry in the series. While the sequel, The New Colossus, has a reputation of being one of the most testicle-strangling platinums to ever exist, this game is fairly easy in comparison. The majority of the trophies come from the in-game perks you unlock. There's also collectibles, but you can use chapter select to go back and collect any of the ones you missed. The hardest part of this platinum journey will be beating the game on the Uber difficulty. But if you save it for a second playthrough and try to be a bit more stealthy with the way you kill enemies, it's definitely doable. And if you have both PS3 and PS4 versions of this game, you can platinum this game twice. That's better than anything the new Colossus will give you, Jesus fucking Christ. Yes, you are reading this correctly. Valve's 2012 online shooter CSGO is available for purchase on the PS3, and with it comes a pretty easy trophy list. While there are trophies that require you to win a match of arms race without losing a life, but you can earn every trophy offline with bots, and depending on your skill, it can take anywhere from 1 hour to 5 hours. Maybe even longer if you choose to play online. I honestly feel like we failed as gamers letting this slip under the radar, so now's your chance to pick it up. Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection is, what else, a collection of old Sega Genesis games released on the PS3. Okay, I'll admit, a lot of 90s games age worse than a stillborn, but the collection of games Sega chose for this compilation is pretty solid. But if you're not a retro gamer, the trophies don't really ask much of you. Most of the trophies don't even ask you to play further than the second level. The only game you have to actually play until the end is Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. Yeah, just use the cheat code to skip to the end. Deadpool is definitely the hardest game on this list, coming in at a 5.5 out of 10 in difficulty. But that difficulty only comes from having to beat the game on the hardest setting and the post-game challenges you'll have to complete. But it's fucking Deadpool. This game is an ultra-violent beat-em-up that's even funnier than the movies at times. There's collectibles you need to get and trophies dedicated to specific levels, none of which are missable thanks to chapter select. And yet again, if you have both the PS3 and PS4 copies of this game, you can earn 2 platinums. Definitely check out Deadpool if you're looking for a more challenging platinum, but don't want to play something so hard you'll disembowel your parents to prevent the existence of Hoobastank. Adventure Time, holy shit, I'm not saying all that, is a game you can get on the Vita for only 99 cents. I would say this is the cheapest game on the list, but you can also buy it on the PS3 for $10. But this game is a top-down RPG sorta like Legend of Zelda, which means, of course, you'll need a guide, because a lot of the trophies are missable and there are a lot of collectibles. But using a guide is the least of your worries because the hardest trophy requires you to beat the game without getting any upgrades, which isn't as hard as it sounds, but it can be frustrating at times, so it's best to save it for a separate playthrough. For a licensed kids game, this one's actually pretty good.
Addicts arise when I arrive in this crack bag slap in disguise. Fat sack of knives in the passenger side. Bitch, reach for the door, get your access denied.
Hey guys, it is ZPTV123 here, also known as MCSFan001 on PlayStation Network. So I've actually got a couple of different games that have, in my opinion, very, very underrated platinum trophies. So one of them is a game called Oceanhorn. It is I guess you could call it a Legend of Zelda type of game. I would definitely say it's a Legend of Zelda Wind Waker almost type of game. Basically what you're doing in this game is you're running around an open world, you're killing all sorts of enemies, you can sail between islands. The game is really, really fun. I would highly recommend picking it up if you can find it for sale at any given time. It is a very solid product. It's about a 3 out of 10 in difficulty due to some fishing challenges, and it can be done in about 10 to 12 hours, so definitely one that is worth picking up. Another really underrated game, in my opinion, is, well, it's actually more than just one game. It's the entire Overcooked franchise. This franchise currently consists of 3 different games: Overcooked, Overcooked 2, and Overcooked All You Can Eat Edition, which is effectively a remake or remaster of the original 2 games with a few new levels added in. This game is an absolute blast to play, all of them are. because it's just co-op cooking nonsense, and it is just such an absolute blast to play through, especially if you're playing it with friends. I highly recommend trying to play it with friends. Basically, you go through all sorts of ridiculous, crazy cooking levels, just trying to make various simple dishes with all sorts of hazards to deal with along the way. Within the franchise, the original Overcooked does not have a platinum trophy, and it's not the easiest 100% in the world. It definitely requires a good bit of effort and a good bit of skill to get through. Then Overcooked 2 is definitely easier, though it has some tricky DLCs, whereas Overcooked All You Can Eat is actually a pretty easy platinum trophy overall. So those are a couple of my favorite underrated platinums.
I'm not an asshole, I just don't give a fuck a lot. The only time I do is when a bitch is screaming, Tyler, stop. The big bad wolf, to me, you're just a minor fox. Red riding is getting some of this wolfly otter cod.
What else can I say about the Jak and Daxter trilogy that hasn't already been said? They're some of Naughty Dog's best games and a staple of the PS2 platform genre. You can get these games on the PS3, PS4, PS5, and the Vita. That's already 12 platinums right there. And these games aren't even that difficult, especially the first one. Just collect all the collectibles, beat the game, and you're done. Each game takes about 10 hours, and if you don't feel like a gamer, you can use the debug mode that works in all versions and get the platinum in a couple of minutes. But why would you want to do that? Why would you ever want to do that? Why would you rather cheat at a video game instead of experiencing it for yourself? I'm just kidding, I don't give a shit. Play however you want to play. But that wraps up this video. I hope I gave you guys some platinums that looked intriguing to you and that you can go out and play. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. And this is what a blind person sees, apparently. Not fun. I don't like the overwhelming darkness. Well, peace, guys.
I'm a half brother and my fully fledged friend. We fight is forever from beginning to the end. I'm a half brother and my fully fledged friend. We fight is forever from beginning.